And we're back. We're going to talk a little bit now about the games that are upcoming this weekend. First on the slate, Cincinnati at Buffalo. Cincinnati taking on a team in Buffalo that's been really up and down, and now, of course, is missing their starter for 3 to 4 weeks, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So that is obviously gonna impact this game. What do you think?
I see Cincinnati's coming off a big win against the Patriots at home, traveling into Buffalo. I see the Cincinnati Bengals coming away with another win with an AFC East team. It's very tough to play at Buffalo.
It is.
Who you
It
are.
is.
Cincinnati seems to be, after that, they've got to be riding on cloud nine after beating the Patriots at home, Super Bowl champions. I mean,
Of
it's
course,
not something that happens
of course.
in Cincinnati
And
daily.
If EJ Manuel was healthy, I would consider this one of our classic trap games, and then I would maybe call for the Buffalo upset. But with him out, and really, I'm not even sure who they've signed someone.
Yeah.
Someone new even to come in and start for them this week. So I really don't see the Bills being able to pull off the upset at home given these circumstances.
Exactly.
Detroit's at Cleveland.
Boy, I believe in the Cleveland Browns. They've played good football in the last couple of weeks. They've shown they're up and coming team. But Detroit is also licking their wounds since last week, losing them to the Packers. So Detroit's looking for the win. I think Detroit's probably going to go into Cleveland and win a close one. It'll be a close game. It won't be a shootout.
Yeah, the Brian Hoyer experiment, I don't know how over that is, but it's certainly
Well, he's injured. He's out for a while.
He's certainly out for a while.
But Whedon came in last week and rallied him back for a while.
I don't hate Whedon as much as some people do with regards to his overall ability, but still, I can't see Cleveland winning 4 in a row. I think it's time to come back down to earth a little bit. They've made it exciting, but I think Detroit will take it as well. Oakland at Kansas City. The Chiefs stepping up.
I'll let you jump on that one first.
I gotta say, I really thought that they were going to come back to earth this last week, and I think that had Jake Locker been healthy, it probably would have played out that way, looking at the final score and how it played out on the field. However, they didn't. They found a way to win. They were very resilient, and I surely do not see them dropping a home game to one of their most hated rivals. I think that Kansas City wins this one, and quite possibly it's a laugher.
I mean, Oakland is stepping it up, starting to play good ball. They just won a tough game against San Diego. Pryor seems to be coming into his game. The offense is clicking, defense is clicking. But the Raiders are going into Chief territory in Kansas City. And anyone who knows the history of football is good. It's tough to win in Kansas City. They should do this rivals. They hate each other. I see Kansas City starting 6-0.
Carolina at Minnesota. There's no rivalry.
I might just tune in just to see who's playing quarterback for the Vikings.
That's exactly what I was going to say. That might be the most exciting thing about this entire game is who is actually playing quarterback for the Vikings. So let's just pick. Who do we see playing quarterback for the Vikings?
Say Pond. I think give Ponder one more shot. Was he injured?
I don't know if he's going to be well enough to play yet or not. So I think Castle will get the start, and the Vikings will win a close one. Pittsburgh at the Jets. The Vikings, yeah.
I got Carolina winning this.
Carolina, okay. Pittsburgh at the Jets.
Ooh. Jets played well last week, playing in New York. Pittsburgh's got to win a game sometime. But I'm going to give this one to Rex Ryan and home advantage Jets.
I'm sticking with Pittsburgh until they win one. So
okay, yeah,
we're going Pittsburgh. Yeah. Sooner or later, I've got to be right, and I'm not going to be jumping off the bandwagon just in time to call it wrong. Philly at Tampa Bay. The new look Bucks. Coach Greg Schiano, perhaps the most reviled coach in the NFL right now.
My gosh, Josh is no longer there. You have to give it to Philadelphia.
Yeah, as much as I'm not a believer in the AFC East or NFC East right now, I think Philadelphia makes it 2 in a row and starts to make things interesting by pushing for 500 in the division.
Exactly.
Green Bay at Baltimore.
Tough game. Really tough game to call. I really, really, really want to pick the Ravens, and I hate the Ravens being a Patriots fan. But I think Ravens come back down to earth a little bit, maybe. If Rodgers is on fire and his receivers can get, if Rodgers allowed to throw the balls and the receivers can get free, I see Green Bay winning this one. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised with the Baltimore win.
Okay, so we're hedging our bets on
Yes.
this one, apparently.
Yes.
I'm going to go Green Bay all the way because Baltimore seems to be in an every other week holding pattern right now.
Yeah, that's what I think, but they are playing at home.
I know, but they won last week, so probably Flacco's due for a good half dozen interceptions, and who knows what happens from there. St. Louis at Houston, two teams that, I don't know if you'd say St. Louis is underachieving so much as playing exactly to where everyone expected them to, but Houston is obviously flailing at the moment. Do you think they can get it right against the Rams?
Houston is quarterback. The leader of the team is always what begins. But Bradford had a good game last week, but I don't think he's going to go into Houston and win. I think Houston's going to win this game.
Yeah, I think, obviously quarterback is the issue for both of these teams for most of this season. But since the rest of the team seems to be better in Houston, I'm going to give it to them, not to mention they're at home. And sooner or later, they're gonna put it together and at least have a decent game. I think this week's the time. Jacksonville at Denver.
Gee, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, they rest Manning, and they say, what the hell, we're already 5-0. We just beat the Cowboys, and they give it to Jacksonville. Denver. Okay, next game.
It's basically a bye week for the Broncos, and I think they'll do just fine at home against Jacksonville. Defense as well.
Yeah.
Tennessee at Seattle.
I like this game.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an interesting game. I think Seattle was brought back down to earth like several teams were this week. But Tennessee looking good. I mean, they lost a tough one, but they're looking good. But Seattle at home.
Yeah, if it was in Tennessee, it would be a much more exciting matchup. At Seattle, the Seahawks are probably going to come out pretty fired up after the Andrew Luck loss, and they'll look to put Ryan Fitzpatrick and the Titans in their place. Arizona at San Francisco. Got the Cardinals and the Niners. NFC West rivalry.
Yes, it will be the San Francisco.
Yeah. San Francisco seems to have figured out
They're playing at home.
their game. Colin Kaepernick's not running anymore, but he's leading the offense. He's not making mistakes. They get Gore going. They get the ground game going. The defense is stepping it up.
I think it's a secret in the ground game.
Yeah. San Francisco takes it.
And back on Kaepernick. Kaepernick, I told you beginning of the week, when we started this 5 weeks ago, that I like Kaepernick, but unless he stopped running the ball and played more pocket, old-fashioned quarterback, then San Francisco would stop playing better offense, and apparently that's what the coach and staff is wanting him to do.
Yeah.
Don't want to injure the guy, have him running for a 5-yard gain.
No.
And he's got a great arm, so utilize it.
And I'm sure they'll bust out those runs again when it comes down to a playoff game or to a game when Seattle comes in. I'm sure when they need it, you won't see him lose his legs again. But
and Gore seems to be back on fire again.
It's impressive how that man never seems to age.
No.
New Orleans at New England. This may be
my
the
beloved
week,
Patriots, poor Tom Brady last week was 2 games shy of breaking Drew Brees' record, who's coming into New England this week by 54 games. Tom Brady got stopped at 52 games. Are the Patriots going to do something fantastic and win this game? Probably not. If they, I don't know. In fact, they do have a pretty good defense. I mean, there's not a lot of people scoring on the Patriots. They got probably one of the best secondaries in the AFC. I'm not going to go Seattle direction or anything like this, but
yeah.
Boy, if the Saints win, it's going to be a close one in Foxborough. But the Saints, I think, are right on. They're the team to look at right now after the Broncos game last week with Dallas. I see the Patriots losing a tough one, and they'll bring them back down to 3-2. They'll all, that's what they make it a close division.
True. I think I'm going to hand it to New England based mostly on the fact that they're at home.
Foxborough is louder.
It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a close game. Obviously, New England's going to have to score if they want to win this game. They're not going to be able to get away with a 13-10 sort of grind-it-out win. But if they can put up, say, 24 points on a New Orleans defense that really isn't boasting a bunch of all-pros,
No.
if they can keep it going and Tom
I
finds
look for
his...
maybe special teams or defense maybe
And,
score.
and of course, the wild card is this may well be the week that they get Gronk back. It really looks that way.
Mhm.
He's been practicing. He's been threatening to get out on the field
take a
every
little
week.
pressure of Edelman and the new boys.
Exactly. So I'm
At
going
least when
to
you know you got Gronk out there, then the secondary. They got two people on the secondary that maybe have to pay attention to this guy. That frees up the others.
I'm going to give it to New England in a squeaker. Washington and Dallas, the late game. Washington at Dallas.
Here's another one of these divisions.
It is.
That you can laugh now, but the 0-5 Giants could come back and finish at 10-6 and win this division. The best team in this division, Cowboys, Philadelphia Redskins, are playing 2 or 3 football right now.
Yeah, they could come back and finish 7-9 and win this division. I think it's quite possible.
This is an important game for both teams. I think Washington's going to squeeze this one out.
Well, I was planning on calling for the upset for Washington, and I still am. It's not. Certainly last week, Dallas looked like world beaters, and I'm not going to hold the points that Peyton Manning and the Broncos scored against the defense really against them, per se, because everybody's getting that kind of point total run up against them from Denver. But yeah, I think when it's said and done, Washington finds a way to win, and maybe it's just because I see all of these teams so closely bunched together that when I see the finals,
the odd makers in Vegas will make it.
A bunch of teams at 7-9 and 6-10 fighting out for the playoff spot based on the divisional record.
It's happened before.
It has, and of course Arizona went to the Super Bowl with a similar situation not too long ago. But anyway, we'll move on. Indianapolis at San Diego, the Monday night game. The Chargers, of course, have been better than advertised in some ways. Phillip Rivers has been playing better. Their defense has seemed okay, but once again, this week they've shown that they don't really know how to win when it comes down to it. They find a way to lose more often
You got
than not.
Romalitis or something like this.
Yeah, the whole team.
I see them losing this one. Unfortunately, but I see them losing this game. I just don't think they come off a tough loss against Oakland division. I just don't see Rivers and them coming back up.
Once again, I'm just going to call for the upset. Kind of a gut feeling. Monday night at home. San Diego can put up the points. I think that Indianapolis has had so many big games. They've had so many games that they've had to put it all on the line. They've had to bring out all the dogs and just push and push, that I think at some point they're going to let back a little bit, take their foot off the gas, and they're going to end up with a loss that's somewhat unexpected. This is exactly the kind of week that's perfect for that.
Yeah. I think luck and the Colts look good right now.
They obviously do. They're obviously going to be the favorites going in, and this is a call for the upset. Okay, we got a couple of extra minutes here to fill. What I'd like to just ask is your thoughts as far as teams, your biggest surprise teams, both positive and negative on the season so far. Maybe one or two of each.
The surprise team is probably, on the negative side, is probably Atlanta Falcons.
Okay.
Atlanta Falcons, I thought could at least be 4-0 right now. They're struggling on defense. They're struggling on offense. They're not scoring the points they need. Something in the system right now is not working. My surprising team, though, on the upside would have to be your Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
Who thought that the old Reed could come in and he just changed the whole thing around. It's fitting, it's blending, and it's working for everyone. Defenses is covering. They're playing good ball on both sides. They've got an offense that seems to be clicking right. I think I'm on the Kansas City Chiefs to be my surprise.
Okay.
Of this early season.
I think from a negative side on my own, even though they didn't play this week, so it's a little less fresh in the mind, is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
I certainly I called for them to have a bounce back year. I thought that they would make the playoffs based almost solely just on history and Mike Tomlin and Ben Roethlisberger and some of the winners that they've had there for years. And they haven't shown any of that fire, any of that gumption. Their offensive line's in disarray. Their wide receivers are mediocre at best. Their running game is just starting to come together.
Well,
I think they're going to be better than Owens whatever as the season progresses, but they've been my surprise in a negative way so far this year.
Yeah, on the negative side, there are several teams you can mention. The Giants,
Yeah, that's another one that would be easy as well.
Pittsburgh, as you mentioned.
Houston, yeah, there are a lot of them. On a positive side, I'm going to go with the Jets, who are
Really?
only 3-2, but
Yeah.
they're, to me, them winning 3 games at this point is a bigger surprise than the Chiefs winning 5. I thought the Chiefs would do a bit of a bounce back. I thought that with the wholesale changes that we saw there that they were going to be better.
Mm-hmm.
The Jets, I actually thought were going to be as bad or worse than last year. And they've found a way to actually play well. So my surprise on a positive side is actually the Jets and the AFC playing as well as they have. So
There are other teams like the Oakland Raiders.
yeah, Oakland Raiders and Pryor, of course, turning that around a little bit. Lots of young quarterbacks making
Lots
a
of young
difference this year.
quarterbacks. It looked like Buffalo was going to make a run at it the first couple of weeks, but they stumbled. Dolphins have had a couple of tough losses, but the Dolphins also look promising.
Almost might be easier to say which teams aren't a surprise.
That's what I was.
That might be Denver.
That's what I was
Yeah.
going to comment when you first mentioned that. Probably shortlisting. Okay, Denver Patriots.
The few that
usual
we thought
suspects. Yeah.
were going to do well that actually did. I guess most of us thought the Saints would be pretty good again, and they are.
Who do you think right now, after the last week's games, are the strongest? Who looks like they're definitely Super Bowl bound?
Well, I think it's going to be. I think right now I would say Seattle and New Orleans playing the NFC Championship game, with it being pretty much a toss-up depending on who's at home as to who wins that game. On the AFC side, the Broncos are obviously the team to beat, but I also really like the Colts right now.
Yeah, I like the Colts.
It wouldn't surprise me to see the Colts playing up there with them, and if Broncos haven't fixed their defense, Colts could pull the upset.
The Broncos got some holes in the defense.
Anyway, it's been another nice week of talking to you guys, and let's do it again soon. Goodbye.
Goodbye.